Hi, and thanks if you joined our last virtual open day or you're clicking here because you want to discover a little bit more about what was discussed at our virtual open day. We've got here for you the Q&A portion where we are taking questions live from our virtual open day audience and doing our best to answer them here. So in this session, you will see myself. My name is Kate and I'm the Head of Community and Environment at Green School. And I was joined here on the bamboo settee with Sal Gordon, our Head of Teaching and Learning, also another member from our educational team and a parent as well, who were all here to answer questions from our virtual open day participants. If you would like to know more, please do join our next virtual open day. We absolutely love tuning into people from all around the world. So take a look at this Q&A, and if you're interested, sign up for our next event. We've also added another little nice hot take of information for you from our virtual open day, and that is all about our learning program. And you can click on the link below and find out more in a deeper dive with Sal Gordon about the learning experience at Green School. I have a new guest to introduce you to. So as well as myself and Sal, I want to introduce a new person and a new accent. You may have noticed that Sal and I both actually are from Australia originally, have Australian accents, but we have 50-something different nationalities at Green School. So I'm really excited to bring another accent. No offense, Sal. All right, let me introduce to you our Pathways Wizard, the master of supporting students through particularly their high school experience and preparing them to move out into the world and beyond the gates of Green School. So let me introduce Jim. How are you, Jim?
Hello, everyone.
Have you had a good day?
I have had a good day.
Have you?
Yeah, it's never a dull moment in Green School.
It's never boring. That is true. Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us some time here this afternoon at the end of the school day. For us, it is. Yes?
My pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah, fantastic. Sal, maybe you want to introduce Jim a little bit. I know, Jim, you're here in that capacity in your wonderful role here at Green School, but also you're a parent here at Green School, which also brings another element. And we're going to dive into some of your questions, which I have right here, that are particularly relevant to Jim. But over to you, Sal, to...
I think Green School, when you look at those videos, and I've spoken through the learning program a little bit, I think it sounds like a beautiful place with rainbows and unicorns and paradise here. We're definitely not a perfect school. We're perfectly imperfect. But where the magic really comes from, where the magic's created, it's our teachers. And Jim's a perfect example of someone that is intelligent and caring, forward-thinking, future-thinking, all the things that I think educators need to be. And it's always awesome to hang out with Jim. I don't get to spend as much time as I wish I did. But Jim definitely holds an important part of high school in terms of not just preparing, because we often think of pathways as after school, but we're all on a learning pathway now. I'm still on I need a pathways coordinator or a pathways lead.
We should have a chat.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really looking for a career change, but pathways we think of as differently. It's not just a single rail track down the road to university, and Jim does an amazing job to provide all of the opportunities for our students, regardless of their passions and their skills, to enter the big wide world after school and have impact and find happiness. And like I said, teachers make the magic happen here, and Jim's one of those awesome people.
Absolutely brilliant. And we are going to keep the anticipation building before we hear from Jim, actually, because I've just got news that we are going to go to a live cross right here on the campus with our roving reporter, Tian, who is in our Community Innovation Hub, which is a hot destination on the campus for all things hands-on learning. And I think Tian is ready for us, so we're going to cross over to him and see what's going on in the iHub. Are you there, Tian?
Thank you so much for
Over
that
to
lovely
you.
introduction. Actually, I was planning to interview some of our iHub team to also share something about Innovation Hub here. So we are live right now. So I have Alpha here, which is our intern. And can you share us a little bit about the iHub? What is happening right now?
So basically, iHub is a space, the workshop space, and also just a bit of bio lab there. So we have student project here, not only the student, and also we have staff project here and also parents project here. So you can do everything that related to your project here to make it progressive, like that.
Amazing, thank you. So let's just find out what is happening at the hub right now. We have a few students here working on their project. This is where ideation becomes live, make a real impact to the world. So who is the better tour manager for us, if not our student itself? So I have Guste here. So Guste, can you show our parents? They're from all over the world right now, live in our Zoom, and they would like to see how is it you and your fellow students, your fellow friends are doing right now, and what is the project that you are currently working on?
Sure. Hi, my name is Guste. I'm a 12th grade student. And right now you're in probably my favorite place at school. This is the Innovation Hub, or the iHub for short. And right now we're in a blacksmithing jalan-jalan. So for 4 hours, we'll be learning and doing blacksmithing and working on our own projects as part of like the project-based learning here. So would you like me to give a tour of the
Oh yeah,
area?
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
sure.
maybe show the parents in from home. What is your favorite station?
Yeah,
Where is
sure.
it?
Well, my personal favorite station is here. So even though we're in the jungle and we're surrounded by bamboo everywhere, we also have high-tech tools here. And these like tools are available to all the students to use for their projects. And it's like super awesome. This is a laser cutter. This is a machine that cuts with light. And it's been entrusted to us to use for our projects. And we're able to make all sorts of things. We also have 3D printers here. And I've been around when the iHub was first like built at school, and it's such an awesome space for you to like kindle your creativity and just make whatever you want, and also make things related to like your passions as well. Yeah, maybe we can look at some other areas. So here we're in the more of the workshop space with the power tools, and also we have my friend here, Ella. She's working on her project. And say hi, Ella. Can I pass it? Yeah. So maybe if you want to say a few words about your project and what you're doing. Yeah. Are you?
Okay. Yeah, so right now I'm just working on a knife. We're doing metal smithing. It's Jordan's greenstone, and I'm just like sanding it off so that it becomes smooth. But yeah, for my greenstone, I'm basically using art to raise awareness about the waste pollution, and I'm going to be redesigning the recycling center here at school and basically using discarded materials to brighten up the entire structure. And I'm also having an exhibition where I have artwork, sculptures, and like fashion design, all also made out of discarded materials to show that with a little bit of imagination, any trash can be transformed, and just talking about upcycling, recycling, and so on. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ella. So you can follow me. Keep going. So that was Ella. She's in grade 12, and she talked about her greenstone and also Jordan's greenstone. And a greenstone is our final capstone project that we do for graduation when we're in grade 12. When we graduate from each learning neighborhood, so from primary, middle school, high school, we have to do a capstone project. And this is sort of the embodiment of your whole learning experience at Green School and what you're passionate about. So speaking of greenstone, I'm going to pass it to my friend over here, who's working on his, and we're all participating in it. This is Jordan.
Hey, go stay.
About your greenstone.
So let me just go ahead and take that for me. He's my student, so I can boss him around. So my greenstone is, I'll come and show you. I've been at Green School for a very long time, and I found out quite quickly that the iHub was probably my favorite place to be. I loved, making things. I loved working with my hands, creating practical things that we could use. So I fell in love with the iHub, and especially what I fell in love with was working with metal. So what I wanted to do was give Green Schoolers a chance to, I guess, have the same fun experience and learning experience that I did working with metal. And I figured the best way to do that was to let them blacksmith, which, is working with hot metal. It's one of the most important professions that we've ever had in our history. And so what I went and did was I run workshops to fundraise for the construction of a full smithy, meaning a blacksmithing, station in Green School. And what I wanted to do was so that I could connect a bit with the local Balinese culture, because I am half Balinese. I wanted one of our forges to be in the traditional Balinese style, which is like it's constructed here with the brick. Then we have more Western style forges. So that's a propane forge. And then over here, I'm lending a Western style charcoal forge, but that's pretty much my greenstone. Anything else, Bob? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. So that was it, Kate. So we have had Guste, Ella, and Jordan, which is our grade 12 students. So we would like to show you what is happening right now. How is it like our learning in action and what our students are currently working on. So this is all live and impromptu. We haven't really briefed them. There was a real experience that you get to see today here in Green School Bali. So back to you, Kate.
Super nice, Tian. What a great live cross there to the iHub. And just a reminder, friends, school is out for the day, actually. It is after school hours, but the action, the learning, and the innovation is continuing, as you can see right there in the iHub. So now we are back here together with the gang, two of my favorite people from Green School, Sal and Jim, and we're going to dive into some of your questions. So I'm going to pull some out here that are particularly relevant to Jim and to the upper school. So what better question to kick off with than this one, which is where are most of our high school graduates heading to after graduation, and how do we meet international standards, I guess. So I guess this is about like pathway options or opportunities that our graduates have from the 13 or so. How many years have we had? No, 10, 12? I can't remember how many years of graduates we've had out of Green School so far. There's a couple of hundred of them.
Yeah, that's a great question. This is a British accent, by the way, if anyone was wondering.
Yes.
So
I don't think anyone's wondering.
No, I'm from the UK originally, but this is my second year in Green School Bali. And as Kate and Sal have introduced, I'm the high school counsellor. So I work with all of the students in grade 9, 10, 11 and 12. With social emotional, SEN, and the Pathways program as well, which is what other schools might call the careers guidance or university guidance program. We call it Pathways because actually it's about the journey, not the destination, and it's about exploring as well. To address your questions, Kate, I think we don't have like a set destination which is fixed. It really depends on the individual interests and ambitions of each student. It fluctuates each year. We might have a bunch of students who are interested in looking at opportunities in Europe, and then the next year it might be in Australia, and then the following year might be US. So we see friendship trends which might influence that. But the trend that I've seen, which is probably the most prevalent in Green School, is students here, because of the way that we structure the Pathways program, we actually ask our students to identify what are things that are meaningful for you, what are things that you find value in, where can you bring together your passions, your skills, your interests, your aptitudes, and find opportunities which activate all of them. Kind of like the Ikigai, the Japanese Ikigai concept. And I think students then, they feel more empowered to actually find opportunities which really speak to them. And that could be anywhere in the world. So again, they're not really following global trends, but they're looking at where's the best place for me to do this. And we just saw and heard from students who are doing amazing projects like sea turtle conservation, 3D printing. So these students then are empowered to actually find where's the best place for me to do this and activate this really cool part of learning that I've developed in Green School and built on, but I want to take that to the next step.
So good. Thank you, Jim. That's great. Thank you. I know there is some information about our graduates, our alumni cohort, and you can find that on the Green School website if you want to see where some of our graduates have gone beyond the bamboo gates. So that's great. Thank you.
It's important that the people know that the program and the curriculum is accredited within Indonesia, which is quite a strenuous and very difficult task to be an international school in Indonesia. It's also got international accreditation. Our high school students leave with more than just a number. They leave with a really vibrant e-portfolio with a TED Talk style presentation of who they are, which is published on YouTube. They leave with probably a pretty similar high school diploma to an American with a GPA, and you know, there's structure and frameworks within our high school program that allows our students to complete different types of learning experiences, but then still activate them and access other opportunities, whether it be university afterwards.
Yeah, we do have graduates that go straight out and start their own business or building their own brand. And of course, students can actually start university while they're still at school, at Green School.
That's right. Yeah, we've got a number of partnership programs with universities in Australia and the US where students can get university credit level courses that they're taking as part of the program here. And I think one of the beautiful things about the high school program is it's very flexible. So you've got students who might want to really push themselves academically and take university level credit, and we can give them an independent study block to do that in, because it could be an online class that they're accessing, as well as doing the amazing project-based work that we offer here on campus. So it's really good. They can piece together exactly how they want, and they're not necessarily following a set curriculum or a set, as Sal said, you know, the train track, the linear path, but they can actually start to piece together the foundations of a future that they want to build that has meaning for them and has value for them. It's beautiful.
So nice. You know, I saw a video that one of our graduates from 2023 had put together as part of his university application. So he was applying to music schools in the US, and it really was a lovely little kind of like montage of lots of different opportunities that he had really activated during his time here at Green School, from being such a great musician for himself, but also leading music in the school. So leading a marimba class and writing a new song for the school that has become a huge hit within our community and gets sung at assemblies and so on, and teaching us all and taking us through that, and playing at festivals that we put on at the beach here in support of World Ocean Day, and so many opportunities that when he put it together in this video montage, it really was just quite mind-blowing. And I suppose that is the opportunity for those students who want to really activate and want to step into all of that flexibility and support and opportunities, can really stand out of the pack. And it's just really beautiful to celebrate all of that. So, and I know many of you out there may have younger children and may not be high school level, but I think it's always great to talk a bit about our high school and our graduates, because it really does reflect on the whole school and the whole system here. And while, you know, some families might come for a year, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, also many do come, you know, when their children are younger and go all the way through as well. So it's all part of the rich Green School story. So thank you. Can I talk a little bit about assessment? Because there's a question here around how we track how students are progressing. Are there assessments or exams? Lauren sent this question. Thank you, Lauren. Are classes held in each individual level, so are children kind of leveled in terms of their learning, or is it a blend of classes based on interests?
Yeah, I can certainly address how it looks in high school. So in high school, again, grades 9 to 12, students will have assessments throughout the year. We don't have a big end of year exam because that often creates a lot of unnecessary pressure, and it also puts down you know, a lot of the learning boiled down into just one moment, which I don't think is a fair representation of how learning actually happens. So we have continuous assessments throughout each of the classes throughout school. Students will graduate, if they stay in Green School all the way to the end of grade 12, they'll graduate with a 4.0 GPA scale on an A to D grading scale. And most students will graduate with an e-portfolio, which is another way of showcasing the learning journey that they've had. So that could be a series of almost like documentary evidence of the projects that they've been involved in, the leadership roles that they've taken, community outreach. That's all kind of represented there in the e-portfolio, and that sits alongside this transcript, which universities, if they are applying to university, they will see that in tandem, and it creates this really rich picture for the Green School students' learning journey. There was a question there about how a class is arranged. As we just learned from our two students in the iHub, so we had a grade 8 student being helped by a grade 11 student. That's not the exception, that is the rule. So in high school, we will have mixed level classes, so grade 9s, 10s, 11 and 12s. And we base it on interest and on aptitude. So students will, let's say for mathematics, they might have an initial test just to assess what their level is, and then students, depending on their level, might be choosing a foundation, an intermediate or an advanced level course. and they can choose that, and that can be configured as they go all the way throughout high school. So we do have classes where we've got grade 9s, 10s, 11, and maybe even 12s together learning. And I think that mirrors real life. Like when you get a job, you're going to be learning with people who are more experienced and less experienced and older and younger. So it helps build that community connection, but it also mirrors how real life works and how you collaborate with different people at different levels. And it's just, I think it's a really good preparation for stepping into life beyond the bamboo gates.
Nice.
I think furthermore to that, sort of looking at middle school, primary school and early years, there's probably less of the integration, breaking of the age cage. As we get younger and younger through the school, and our middle school program has set sort of curricula around its maths and literacy and science that it is grade leveled, but there are a lot of different opportunities for them to be in mixed age classes as well. Primary school, again, probably a little bit more in their grade level, but there's so many opportunities for them, whether it's a Jalan learning journey program or other thematics that they do that are connected across primary, different ways for them to connect with different age learners across primary. There's a little bit of both. We see the need for sort of structured different skill level developments, whether that be a literacy skill or a math skill, but we also try to sort of open and break down that wall of just going to a class and being with the same 20 kids all year, regardless of the topic. So there's a little bit of both across the other parts of the school. Not as much, not as flexible as high school. But yeah, there's different opportunities. I was taught middle school maths for a long time too. So, there was a test at the end of my maths classes. We do a unit on algebra, and I want to provide a test to give them an opportunity. But all along the way, I'd been taking formative assessments with them, from their peers, from their own self-reflections. And we do a project about it. We'll provide many opportunities for students to evidence their learning. So rather than just thinking of assessment as a one-time snapshot assessment of what can you remember, providing students, and this is really across the school, I'd say, providing students an opportunity to demonstrate their learning in different ways is really important to us.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to pivot a little bit. So question here about languages. What language classes are offered in secondary school? But we might expand that out and actually talk about what language learning looks like in other parts of the school as well.
So as you might imagine, Bahasa Indonesia, which is the lingua franca in Indonesia, that is taught in high school, and that's actually a graduation requirement. So students have to have a minimum number of credits in Bahasa. I think it's 4 classes throughout their time in high school. But we also have Language Lab, which is where students can choose a language. They have an instructor, and then they're kind of self-guided on learning that language. And again, the instructor will set assessments and set their progress there. But so actually we have students right now who are learning Russian, Arabic, Portuguese, French, Japanese, pretty much you name it, you can choose it. But in terms of a graduation requirement, we do expect our students to graduate with a certain level of fluency in Bahasa Indonesia. And that's purely because we're in Bali. We want to be connected to Bali. The students are doing projects where they need to be using the language, and it's an amazing thing and an amazing gift to be able to use that and connect with the local community. So yeah, that's part of our learning program.
I think a lot of people think in terms of a foreign language learning program that students learn. I mean, I was in a Latin class for 4 years in my high school, and I never actually learned how to speak Latin during that. Jim's right, we're in Indonesia. We can talk about connecting and respecting our hosts and getting the most out of the opportunities, learning opportunities here. We can talk about that as much as we like, but until we activate that, until we connect, and through language we can connect. That's why Bahasa Indonesian is really, really important to us. We can't, and we want to be authentic today as possible, we can't actually provide a massive foreign language program for our middle school and primary school. Our students are learning a language. That's important for a neuronal development, brain development. But when you're talking about 50 plus different nationalities and then trying to create and provide opportunities that are fair for everyone and their wants and needs, and whether we have a French program, German, Spanish, Portuguese, China, where do I stop and where do we start? We actually can't do that. And so it's important that we provide opportunities for our senior students to advance in a foreign language. It's important for us to connect with language and learn another language, our host country language. But we do also provide opportunities for students in the middle school and lower school to be able to form language clubs. And so if there are a group of French students that want to continue their own French language learning, then they can do that in a group, and that sometimes is at lunch times, or it's an after school activity, or it's something like that. So we're really open to providing those opportunities, but to be authentic, a school can't be everything, and this school can't actually provide a plethora of foreign languages for across a school.
Yeah, and importantly, it's just part of our commitment to acknowledging that we're, for those of us who are not Balinese, we're guests here. And so being able to connect and show respect is, you know, via learning the language. Like, that's where we can start with that. And even just having a little bit. And also for the parents too. So we have Bahasa Indonesia classes, lessons for our parents that come to Green School as well. So everyone can get involved. All right, we have just a few minutes left with Jim here, who probably is almost ready to head home, I imagine, at the end of another long day at Green School. But let's make good use of him. So I'm going to throw a few questions and we're going to try and answer these ones fairly quickly if we can. Let's talk about technology in school. So do children use tablets or laptops to study, and what age does that sort of apply to? Jim, you want to have a crack at that?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Like, there's probably a misconception that we're a tech-free school when you see all the bamboo behind us, but no, we certainly use tech in our teaching and learning. Most students will come in with their laptop or their tablet, and we're using that to access resources and use that for general class things. I guess one thing is that we ask students in high school and middle school to hand in their phones. And the idea there is to disconnect to connect. And there's a lot of research done behind, you know, even having a phone in a pocket means that you're probably thinking about what messages are coming through your phone. So we do ask our students to hand in their phones, but we utilize tech as most schools would. But we do have some tech-free days coming up as well, don't we?
We do. Our Power Down Days.
Power Down days.
Yes.
Yeah. And on things like service trips, for the high school, we go on service trips and we go on camps as well. We ask our students to respect that those are tech-free as well. And again, the idea is that real special magic of human connection in those moments is so important and so sacred that we want to honor that. And it does lead to some really, really amazing, beautiful human connections there. And I've been part of these service trips for 2 years now.
Yeah, lovely. So I think it's, you know, at both ends of the spectrum, you know, making sure that we know how to be human off technology, and being connected to and in the moment with who is around us and what is around us, but also really making the most as a kind of learning tool as well to extend, including using AI and these sorts of things as, you know, we enter this kind of world in this space. But children below middle school might use Chromebooks from time to time in a classroom for something specific, a piece learning how to research or how to write an email to someone else in the Green School community, for example. Middle school and high school, when students enroll into those neighbourhoods, they need a laptop, pretty much. Yes.
That's right.
Yep. Okay, great. All right, another good one. I'll throw you a curveball, Jim. Do children learn to surf at Green School?
The option is certainly there, and I think a lot of Green School families are here because of the surfing is so good. I myself have only tried it once in 2 years, which is probably
it didn't go well.
An oddity. Yeah, I'm a land-based creature. You know, I just find my comfort zone is on dry land. But definitely, it's part of it can be part of the high school program. We've got Jalan, which I'm sure you've heard, is our Wednesday outings where students do surf. We've got Surfers for Diversity as well. There's also longboarding, there's stand-up paddle. So surfing can and is a huge part of why a lot of people are in Green School, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
I'm living proof.
But also, you know, our surfing program was really, it started just as a surfing program, but it's a perfect example of how you can take a passion and then activate it. Because our surfing program's developed in an Ocean Ambassadors program that's got so many different components to it. And it's more than just going to the beach for a surf, but it's activating that passion for the ocean, that passion for surfing, and then doing something with that.
Yep.
And whether that's beach cleanups, whether it's art for activism, whether it's Surfers for Diversity, whether it's coral restoration, scuba diving, ocean is important to us. And we want students to be able to activate those passions. And so, yeah, if you want to learn to surf, you're going to learn to surf, but you're also going to be able to activate that passion and activate the learning in that to make the oceans a better place. Yeah,
I think it's a really good example of teaching a skill and then using that skill to find and activate those passions, right? It goes hand in hand, and there's so many opportunities to do that in a really diverse way. And that's quite magical.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, thank you so much, Jim. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here this afternoon with us. I'm
thanks,
sure
Jim.
everybody out there is thanking you as well for your insights and wisdom and time today. We are going to say goodbye to Jim, but stay tuned because we are going to have a look at a little alumni video, which I feel is a very fitting way to segue from Jim to our next guest, who will be joining us on the Bamboo Settee. And so after this short alumni video, we are going to answer some of your questions about what we eat at Green School, what sport we play at Green School. We'll talk a little about homework and some of the other questions that you have put on the chat. So
Thanks a lot.
stay with us. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll
Jim.
see you on the other side, Sal.
Yep,
Stay
see you
with
in a minute.
us.
Everything you do at Green School in some way or another is related to doing something that has a real impact on the world. My name's Freddie. I'm 18 years old. I graduated from Green School this year. And really what I found pretty quickly was the only antidote to apathy and anxiety towards the climate crisis was action. Every single student, before they graduate, will do a sort of TEDx-style talk. In that moment, my gut was then crashing through the floor as I realized no one was talking about this massive issue. And it was this project, Greenstone, that for me ignited what I'm doing now after school. I started hearing a lot about climate in relation to business. Now I have founded a small eco startup. I realized there was a market in verifying small-scale eco projects, marketing them, and helping them grow their impact.
Hello. Thanks for coming by.
If a company is funding positive impact, offsetting carbon, saving lives, bringing clean drinking water to local families, then they can track that on a digital tracking tool that we built, essentially helping small eco solutions be verified and track their impact. Green School sort of breeds entrepreneurs. There's a lot of freedom to pursue your interests specifically. There's a lot of freedom to have an impact on the world. The theory that we need to help our planet with every action we take into every aspect of learning. This is the sort of philosophy that I was able to take into life going out of Green School.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed a little peek into our alumni family, our growing alumni family. That was Freddie, who continues to inspire us. So thanks for staying tuned, because it is well worth it, because right here joining us, we have a real live Green School parent, a fairly new one, because we know you really, generally people that join us for the virtual open days really love hearing not just from the likes of Sal, myself and Jim, but also from a parent. So their real experience, and a fairly new one here. So let's say hi to Hayate. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Do you want to introduce yourself to our friends?
Hi, I'm Hayate. I'm from Japan, and I have two kids. One kid is in the Gecko. It's the smallest group. She's 3 years old now, and one more is a new baby. It's 2 months ago.
Not enrolled yet.
Yeah, not enrolled yet. It's maybe 3 years later will be.
So Geckos is our youngest group of learners at Green School. So they're around 3 years old, and we call that class the Geckos class. Yeah,
we love it. We love it. So cute.
Special.
Everybody's so cute.
It's very cute. It's very cute. I do. If I'm ever having a bad day, I go and watch the 3-year-olds doing yoga in the yoga studio. Just a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, my earliest duty is by far my favourite session. My Thursday lunchtime that I spend down there every week playing with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really wonderful. So we are going to make good use of you here today, and we're going to jump into your questions, because I know there are a lot here, and some of them we'll be able to answer fairly quickly. So we'll just move through these as rapidly as we can, and then we can dig into a bit more conversation. So one question we have here is really around a child who maybe doesn't speak English looking to enroll. And I think that depends a lot on the age of the child in terms of how well they might be able to just kind of integrate in. But why don't you tell us your story?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for my daughter also cannot speak English before, but we came to the Green School since last August. So already how many is it? 7, 8 months like that. And then she can speak English very well. And sometimes she pointed out that it's not good to pronounce like that. She's a very good English speaker for now. So for my experience, don't worry about the English. And even me, I cannot speak English before. I mean parents, but in a green school has a very good community to help someone need help. So don't worry about it. I think
That's super
How-
nice.
how
I know.
you
I know you've joined the parent. I can't remember what it's called. It's a parent group.
Yeah, parent group.
For parents who want to learn work on their English together in a supportive way.
And then to be honest, before 1 year ago, before I watched the open school day as well, and we really worry about it because the native speakers, two of them, both like you, I cannot understand everything. So, can I join or not? But for now, after learning the green school, the community helped me and help everybody. And finally, I can understand the speaker and join to the community.
Yeah, you're
Now
here.
you're here.
You're full
Now
circle.
you're here talking to the new
I
families.
cannot imagine the 1 year ago, but I'm here. So.
Beautiful.
We see that with our
Absolutely.
students too. I think a lot of parents and students come in and they're stunned basically at the end of 6 months or 12 months that their children and students are standing up presenting to the community in English. We do think that the immersion of our youngest students through the earliest program in a lower primary, it's definitely the best way for them to learn. They're learning all of the time.
It's so fast usually,
and they
isn't
learn
it?
so
They learn
fast.
so fast.
We do have an English language learning green camp, a language camp that's immersive and it's a bit longer, that happens before each semester. And there's good English language learning support across the school in different grades as well. But I think that's part of the admissions process, part of being open and asking about questions and us getting a good understanding as well.
And I think that not only the English, but also every kind of the program, if you have some problem, the community help them to solve it.
Yeah.
That is the green school, the most valuable point, I think. So, not only the English, but also every program is possible to solve it.
Yeah.
Help somebody.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, so we're done for the day.
Yeah.
No,
That's great. I might just leave. Hayate, you can just.
Okay, 3 hot topics I'm going to want to touch on next. And one is, let's talk about sport. Let's talk about music and arts, and let's talk about food at Green School.
Right. Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Sport.
Let's go with sport.
Yeah, sport. I put it in the presentation. Sport's really important. Physical well-being, development of skills, collaboration, teamwork, resilience. That's really important. Active in terms of being on campus, who we are, but we do have structured PE or physical well-being classes that actually are age development and it's motor skills, fine motor and gross motor skill learning programs. That's weekly embedded in our programs. We've got an amazing after-school activity, which is actually broadened into a before-school activity and an after-school activity program that has a lot of extra sports opportunities. Sport's important to us, but the school can't be everything, and so it's probably not the most important thing to us, but it is definitely an important thing.
And my daughter in the get-go, the smallest class, has a PW class. It's very it's important to develop the physical skills. And it's important is with fun. Every kid love the PW class. So easy to get.
Yes, they do.
Improving to the physical the skills.
So PW being physical well-being. Physical well-being. Yes, I know they do with Putu Johnny. Yes.
There's a lot of access to different sports. Football, soccer is really, really popular in Indonesia. Volleyball. There's lots of access to different types of sports around the island as well.
Green School has an after-school program.
Yes, I'm going to keep us moving. Keep us moving. So let's talk about music. Let's talk about music. What's music look like for your daughter? What is her experience? And then Sal, we can expand out across the school.
She loves to sing. She loves singing. So every Friday we have the sing-along class. It's the kids on the stage and they singing to everybody.
It's a real tradition in early years, I think.
Nice.
The Friday sing-along, and parents can come and
not only English song, but also the Indonesian songs we can sing in. So that's very lovely, and she loves it.
I've heard she enjoys drumming too. Is that true?
Drumming. Yeah, that's true.
Have you got a drum at home for her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, and I think that's reflected across the school. We want to connect the arts, music and the arts with culture. There's so much Balinese Indonesian music. We've got an African marimba band and set up. Our middle school and high school students can access real structured music classes that look like classes at other. There's a lot of bands here. We talked about the battle of the bands that's going on. Music's a part of who we are as a community, how we celebrate together. And it doesn't look that much different except for the spaces that it's taught than it does in other schools. We don't have a string quartet. We don't have a brass band, but we have a gamelan, Indonesian gamelan band. We've got marimba bands. We've got thrash metal bands at the moment in high school, ukulele clubs. It's very varied, but it's meant to provide an opportunity for everyone to connect to music, not just those musically gifted individuals.
Yeah.
And so obviously, you know, in our responses here, we're needing to keep it reasonably kind of general. If you have something very specific you want to ask that's very important for your child, then please, when you're in touch with our admissions team, you know, please do ask those kind of questions so we can dig a bit deeper.
Yep.
So before I talk about food, which is one of my favorite topics, what time does school, what times of the school day?
Start at 8 to 3.
8 to 3.
8 to 3.
5 days a week.
There we go. And I know there are some questions about the school buses, and the school buses have routes from various kind of hotspots where we know the Green School community tends to live. And they're available at this stage for children grade 4 and up. Can ride the bio bus. If they're younger than that, grades 1 to 3, they can ride if they have an older sibling. That's the arrangement for now, but we might be adjusting that. We have a look at it from year to year, and the routes change a little bit year to year as well. Once families are connected with us through admissions and they've got an application in and they've moved through the process, then we start offering more support, because we know that moving to Bali, which many of our families who join here have had to do to be part of the community, we do provide support and onboarding and resources and information for people on, you know, where Green School families tend to live, so where you might like to look for housing, where the bio buses go, how that works, what the first day of school looks like, all of those sorts of pieces to help our families have a smooth landing. Was that your experience? Did you access some of those supports and resources?
Yeah, for me, the Facebook community is very helpful. Before I came to Bali, they're easy to get access to the Green School parent, and then they help me.
Yes,
and
the
also,
hive, the big hive.
Yeah,
of,
big hive.
Green
Everybody,
School mind.
answered for me. And after came to Bali, it's very helpful, the Green Village community. I'm living in the Green Village. It's close to the Green School. It's the same like a bamboo house. The Green Village has a community that there are so many Green School parents, so they very helpful. Yeah,
actually we had a question here from Simone, who asked a question specifically about the Green Village and if that is an option for families. Well, clearly it is, because we have a family right here that are living in the Green Village, but I think it's just making a connection and checking out whether there is availability. But it's separate to, I mean, it's our neighbours and they're kind of part of the Bamboo family in some ways, but a separate entity to the school. So please do reach out and make contact with them.
Food.
So very briefly, we have a few different vendors on site here at Green School. So parents with younger children can pre-order. They can select from the menu and that's delivered to the children. And then for the older children, they also can pre-order. They can buy kind of over the counter from a couple of different vendors that are here on the campus. And our food, how we decide what we serve at Green School is really around it being locally produced or locally sourced, seasonal, nutritious, organic wherever possible, cruelty-free, fresh food. And that's what we kind of aim for. That dictates what we offer. And one of our cafes, by the way, that is open here on the campus is run by our middle school students, and it's my favourite place to eat at Green School. So
awesome salads.
Awesome. Really tasty food. Tasty food. Okay, so how are we going? Let's grab a couple more questions here while we've got the whole gang together. Let me just answer a couple very quickly myself. And one is around a boarding program, which we don't offer boarding. So we love the whole family to be here with us. It really is a whole family experience, I think, right? Yes. So no, we don't offer a boarding program. We do have a camp, Green Camp Bali, and I'm sure the team will put a link in the chat there. You can jump over to the Green School Bali or the Green Camp Bali website and have a look at the programs that are on there, which are short programs for families and children, young people during the school holidays, which you might like to check out. In terms of school holidays, we have a calendar, an academic calendar, which is also on our website. So if you want to have a look when our break is, you can see there. But when does the school year start?
August.
August.
Yeah.
When does the school year end?
June.
June.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Yeah. So that is the school year we kind of cycle on, but you can check out the exact holidays there. Okay, let me see. What else do we need to? I'm just checking.
Someone said homework before.
Oh yeah, homework. Yeah, let's talk about homework. What's homework? What does your daughter get homework?
In the smallest group, no more homework.
No homework in the geckos.
Yeah, but every weekend, I mean I think Friday. Every Friday, the Green School community send a letter like this week the children learn about something like that, and then the letter include some question to the children from the parents.
Yes. Okay.
So we do that every weekend. That ask the question to the children. It's like a homework. I'm not sure about that. It's like it's
to prompt the conversation at home and
okay,
nice.
And then we can understand the kids understand the program or not, and she need a help or something like that. It's very helpful.
Yeah. We generally don't believe in overloading our youngest learners with hours and hours of daily homework. The day here is full, the learning here is rich, and then to send one of my children's in grade 5, I couldn't imagine him coming home and doing a couple of hours homework. It does look different as the students get older. In middle school, when I was teaching maths and science and thematics there, I would provide opportunities for homework to reiterate the learning, to repeat the learning, to activate the learning. Sometimes it's just to finish off something we'd done in class.
Right.
But we're definitely against, and I'll put this on record, we're just against setting homework for homework's sake. When there's a meaning to it and when we can make it age appropriate, when we connect the learning to home and the parents, that's why we set some homework. But we're not just going to set hours of homework for no reason. It's not that sort of place, and it's not in our philosophy in good teaching and learning practice. Our high school kids would be doing homework. My son was doing maths homework all the time, and it got to a point where I couldn't even help him in the end because his maths level was higher than mine in terms of teaching it. So there's homework, but it's not the same as other schools, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And once they're in high school, depending on what choices they're making will impact how much homework they might have.
You can't get through an AP Calc class just by doing it 4 hours a week in class. You just can't do it. So homework is set. You can't finish your essay, and you're going to have to go home in a literacy class and do homework. So it does exist. We're not a school against homework. We just want it to be meaningful, and we want it to be purposeful in terms of how to connect the learning at school to at home.
Yeah, nice. So, Hayate, how many children are in your daughter's class? Because there's a question here about how many students are in a class.
In her class, in the Gecko, the 18 kids.
18 kids in the Gecko's cohort.
And there'll be
Gecko's crew.
Probably 2 and 2.5. Sometimes there's a teacher that floats, sort of teachers in that size classroom.
In the Gecko, 3 teachers.
3 teachers.
And 2 more help teachers.
Yes. And then they would have some specialist teachers that would be coming in as well, like the PW, the physical wellbeing.
The music and something like that.
Music.
Green studies.
And how about as children move up through the school?
Our classes are sort of capped at around 20, 22, 24, depending on the cap gets higher as they get older. All of our primary classes have probably maximum at the moment. I think there's about 20, 21, I think is our biggest primary class. Again, they'd have 2 teachers in that class. A middle school grade, like grade 8, might have 40 students in it, and that'll be 2 classes, an 8A and an 8B. But they do a lot of elective classes as well, where they're not actually just in 8B and 8A, and they'll do classes that are mixed across grades 6, 7 and 8. And sometimes those classes are 10 students in it, sometimes there's 24 students in it. So there's no set sort of answer to what are the class sizes.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we're always considering and quite sensitive to, because we want to make sure, obviously we want every child to be seen as an individual within their cohort, but also knowing that, classes when they're too small can be unhelpful as well, and particularly as children get older, having access to different teams they can work with and a broader social experience is really important as well.
One data point, if you wanted to look at, you can't just do a simple maths calculation, but there's 510, around approximately 500 students in the school, and there's 80 people that are connected directly to our learning program as educators. And some of those aren't classroom teachers or homeroom teachers, some of them are in the iHub or they're specialists. But if you did the maths on that, 500 divided by 80, you'd get a pretty good student to teacher ratio. It doesn't look like that in reality. Sometimes there is a class with one teacher and 20 kids in the class. Sometimes there's 3 teachers and 18 students, and sometimes there's 1 teacher and 6 students. It just looks different.
Yeah. So I know there are some other questions on here which are really specific around, for example, what notebooks or pencils does my child require? I mean, just to know that we don't ask for anything outside the ordinary in some senses. So there might be little resources, checklist, but a pretty normal kind of collection. And again, that's kind of information we would provide to families closer to the beginning of a school year. A couple of questions here around, if my child is sick, do I need a doctor's certificate after recovery? I don't think so. No. Generally, it's up to the parents to advise the school. We obviously have an attendance policy, and we want to make sure we know where children are and that they're safe. Couple of other things, the minimum length of attending primary school, and some questions that are more about the admissions process, which we will answer right at the very end of today's session. But the minimum length of enrolment generally is 1 year in the school. Sometimes if we have space in early years, we might be able to take someone for 1 semester, but usually 1 year, and most of our families stay much longer than 1 year. Grade 11 and 12 is our diploma program, and that's a 2-year commitment. That program runs for 2 years through to graduation. Questions around, whether a child can come with a legal guardian as opposed to a parent and so on. They're great questions to take directly to the admissions team, because they really are a little bit more specific to an individual situation. Generally, we like to have the parents here, but we can have a discussion that's more individualized around that. So one more question, Sal, before we begin to wrap up. This section is really about our ability to support neurodivergent children or learners within our school. And if you could share a little bit, again, probably specific to a particular family and a particular child, but maybe some general comments.
Let's just start the answer to that with the boring part of it, with a sort of really active and hardworking learning support team that helps all of our learners connect with their learning in a different way. But then I'll probably get to the more innovative part of the answer and go, look, the traditional school model wasn't designed for divergence and diversity. It was designed for putting everyone in a box and putting them down the same pathway and giving them the same test. As soon as you create a model like Green School that goes away from this is what we learn, this is how you're going to learn, and this is how I'm going to test your learning, to a new model that go, look, let's learn about the oceans. How do you connect with the oceans? How would you like to, or what would you like to learn about the oceans? How would you like to demonstrate that learning? I mean, I've been in classes as a middle school teacher in an oceans thematic where I've had 20 different students learn in a different way, in their own way, and me to be able to assess them in a different way because they've been able to demonstrate it in their own way. So the model itself actually sets us up to not just accept divergent learning, but to celebrate it, and not to have difficulties with a student who can't access information, but to actually provide that student with an opportunity, and all students with an opportunity to engage and interact with the learning. I think when we're really talking about going beyond accepting divergence in learning and actually moving it into celebrating, I think it is definitely one of the most awesome things about humans. And I think it's a biomimicry process that we all actually know that we can use in education to celebrate diversity. And I think the learning program itself sets itself apart because it doesn't have that one-track way of teaching and learning and that one-track way of demonstrating learning and assessment. It's really important to me because I went through school where those students were the kids that were just stuck at the back of the classroom. The teachers didn't know how to handle them. The students never got engaged in it. That it just didn't work. And I think that education let down a whole heap of people because of our misunderstanding of neurodivergence and our inability for us as educators to provide a system that allows all students and all learning styles to engage and then do something with that learning. It's primary to the model, Kate, to value diversity, and I see it all of the time with students coming from other schools that haven't been able to connect, and whether it's an ADHD or whether it's a dyslexia or something like that, we find ways that allow students to connect in their own way to the program that's here. You can't do that at a normal standardized school. You just can't do it if you're just reading information, answering questions and passing a test. But that's not what we're about. I hope you know that by now.
So my takeaway from that, Sal, is really, we're open to that. We are
Totally.
an inclusive school.
Yeah.
We also know
We
not
want that,
every learner
actually.
thrives at Green School,
Yeah.
neurodivergent or otherwise. And so really getting to know the family and sharing as much as we can openly and honestly about the school experience, and also inviting prospective families to really do their research and ask us the questions as well as part of the process, I think. Here comes the rain. I don't know if you can hear that. We're just getting some beautiful rain.
I'm often distracted in my work here. The rain, I can hear the rain coming across the trees in the jungle here. I've forgotten what you were talking about, Kate.
Well, I have a couple of other quick questions. So here's one for you, Sal. We'll stick with you for a moment. Is there uniformity between curriculums followed by the different green schools across the world?
So there are some divergent parts of our learning programs at different green schools. I think parts of the model, the mission itself sets us up to be divergent. So Green School New Zealand, South Africa and Bali here. I think our understanding of the importance of experiential learning, skills and values-based learning, learning in and for nature, integrated learning, they're all things that all green schools do. Our other green schools around the world have different national curriculum that they have to sort of align with, and so that needs to happen. Green School South Africa is teaching dual language. It has to, as a school there. There's a lot of convergence as well that allows green schools to activate and access the potential in their community and actually do align with national and international curriculum as well. So a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's not the same experience. I've been to Green School New Zealand.
Yes.
And it's one of my favourite green school stories to actually go to another green school and see it and hear the music and see their nature-based learning and see their thematics and their values. And yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I might be shouting now because the rain's got loud.
I know. I feel like shouting a little bit too. It's really pouring. I just have a question about, because it's come up a couple of times here, and even though, as I say, we do, as people move through the process of joining Green School, we provide more information and more resources around living in Bali and being part of the community. But there's a question, and I guess it's from a sense that we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, somewhat. Well, not in the middle of nowhere, but the Green School campus is in a village here, but our families tend to live in pockets kind of around the school, on the Green School side of Ubud and down south kind of by the beach. So you're right here in the Green School neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, how is that experience?
Yeah, it's very easy to get rolling in the community.
Yeah.
Before I came to the Green School, I know the community is important, but I don't exactly understand. I don't know exactly understand it, but after I came to the Green School and then living the cross around here, finally understand it. It's everybody think about the same way, like be green, be sustainable, be peace, like that. That similar, even though the different background, the different thought, that their vision is like the same. It's very comfortable for me. Everybody think about for the kids, for the peace, for the world.
Yeah.
It's very nice. And then of course easy to go to the Green School.
Yeah.
It's very helpful. Yeah, we love the beach, but it's okay, just only the weekend we can go to the
Yes.
beach around the 30 minutes and 40 minutes like that.
Yeah.
And go to the Ubud,
Yeah.
the jungle, and the beach. So for me, for my experience, the around here is the better choice for me. That's only for me. But if somebody love the beach, it's okay to live in the jungle or something like beach place. And then if you like the jungle, it's live in the Ubud.
Yeah,
that's a choice.
Well, you've gone full green school in a lot of ways because I know you're also living in a bamboo house as well.
Exactly. Yes.
How is that experience for you?
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Get lost in the jungle. It's very beautiful, amazing.
Yeah.
And totally beautiful. And then feeling is, how should I say? It's comfortable. And then I can tell a story. The before came to the Bali and the before came to the bamboo house, we cannot make a new baby more than 2 years. But after I came to the Bali, 2 months later, we got a new baby. I see that's why because of the bamboo
None of
house,
this is
I'm not sure,
rehearsed.
the green school, the Bali, I'm not sure.
So,
But
Keeping it real. And nothing is off limits at the virtual open day today. So
yeah, and I live in Ubud.
it was also the beautiful place.
But I think a
Where do
nice
you live,
takeaway
Kate?
from all of this, actually, one thing that really touches my heart is that the experience of being part of a community. And even though, many of our families, we've all come from different backgrounds and different stories that we have, there is something that brings us together at Green School, something we really have in common, which is a beautiful thing to experience. So, thank you for that. All right. I think we are out of time at this stage for this piece. So thank you so much, Hayate, for joining us on the bamboo settee.
Thank you.
And Sal, of course, you too. We know your
I'm out of
time
here
is
as well.
precious here at Green School. Thank you for giving us some time.
Thanks everyone for allowing me a chance to connect with you. Hopefully it's not the
brilliant.
first time. I do think you're going to go see one of your favourite videos right now.
It is my favourite video
go
of
to the
all
video?
time. We've been saving it up.
And then talk about a little bit about admissions and
Yes.
you'll meet Christine. But thanks everyone.
We are. So Hayate, I know you were here for Peace Day last year. It is one of the many things that form part of the rhythm of the year for our community at Green School. It is our celebration of International Peace Day and it is led by our early years students. So it's really an opportunity for them to show their leadership within the school and their spirit and their talents and to just spread the message of peace right across the community. So we are going to have a quick look at this beautiful peace video and then I am going to be joined by Christina and we'll have a quick chat about all things admissions. I will see you on the other side of that.
Thanks everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
And maybe see you soon.
Thank you.
This is chocolate cake painting. Chicken! Peace is peaceful.
On September 21st, here in Green School, Bali, we celebrate the International Day of Peace. It's a really important celebration for our community as it highlights peace. We want to bring more peace and kindness into this amazing world that we all share. amazing part of the Peace Parade is how it brings the entire Green School community together. So every student in the whole school participates, all of the teachers, the parents from early years join the parade as well. And it's such a beautiful way to create more peace and kindness within our community, with our youngest learners leading the way. In Green School, we believe in a values-based education, and peace is one of our values. Let's bring more peace everywhere.
Welcome back. Did you enjoy that? The Peace Parade? I love it. I mean, you really can't get the full effect from just watching a video, but it really is something to experience. And our early years children are always so proud of that day. So absolutely brilliant. So I am going to, speaking of peace, introduce Christina. Christina, why don't you introduce yourself actually, and we are going to dive into some questions that I know are really important at the end of this session today.
Yes, thank you so much for bearing with us. I know we're a little bit over time, but it's just so amazing to see that everybody's getting involved and asking lots of questions. And these are really relevant questions that I know a lot of parents came here and families came here to find out. So we're really excited that you're so engaged. I will try to be quick. My name is Christina. I'm the head of admissions. I have spoken to quite a few of you actually already, but the team and I, so you might have spoken to Adi or Pancha or myself, we're here to help you with the enrollment process from the start to really until you start coming and arriving on island, and then we hand over to Kate and the community team.
Yes, lovely. So I get to take them from there, so and really feel like they're part of the Green School family. But we're going to dive into these questions. Quick shout out, please, if you have a minute before we wind up and end this today, if you could please grab the link to the survey that I know the team have or will or are doing as I speak in the chat. We really, really do love getting some feedback from our virtual open days. So we want these to be as meaningful as they can be for you and other people like you. So we really want you to tell us whatever your thoughts are. We're ready for it. So please give us some feedback. So Christina, let's dive in. First question from Emily. Which criteria do we use in selecting students for this school? And do we prioritize factors like diversity in our selection process?
See, I promise to be fast now, but that's not a quick answer, is it? So I apologize. I try to be precise or concise. So the first most important thing is, do the students want to be here? That's all what we look for. So if you had already had a look at our application form, it is very lengthy, very extensive. This is just for us to get a picture of the family, because we're so fortunate to have a really diverse student and community, and families have joined us or are joining us from all corners of the world, from different backgrounds for different reasons. So we ask a lot of questions. We ask you to submit the videos. We read all the letters. We look at all the pictures that you submit from your children. All the art pieces that your 3-year-old submits. So we look at it all, and we are looking for families and children who want to be here, who are excited to be part of the community, who want to contribute, who want to learn. It's obvious we want families who are in line with sustainability and who want to learn and share more and contribute to the environment. But then we're looking for diversity. That's really what we're looking for. So there is no yes or no criteria. Also for academically, Sal has touched on that before. We take in students who may have support needs or may have not thrived in the traditional academic setting. So there is no hard yes or no criteria. We look at each child and family individually as much as we can. And last bit, so the admissions team, the faculty, head of school, head of upper, head of lower, we all go through the application. So from the moment you submit, we go through it. It goes through quite a few review panels. So we try to get it right.
That's great. And I think a takeaway from me for all of that is really for families out there, if you're thinking about Green School Bali, to just spend that time, like read, watch, listen to as much as you can about the Green School so that you're really feeling informed and feeling like this is the right kind of school for your child and for you as a family as well, because we know it's a big decision and a big move for many people to come to Bali. So thank you for that. Second part of Emily's question is around opportunities for parental involvement and support at the school. So yes, lots of different ways parents can be involved. In fact, we refer to our parents as their own learning neighbourhood. So they're our fifth learning neighbourhood in the school. And the team might be kind enough to put into the chat there the link to The Bridge, which is our parent program. Beyond that, parents can get involved in different things going on, potentially in a classroom or being a mentor for a student. Lots of different ways that parents can be involved. Are there, Christina, any restrictions for Singaporeans to enrol in Green School Bali?
Okay, so I actually used to work and live in Singapore, so I understand where that question is coming from. But no, we don't have any restriction of any nationality joining our school, whether it's Indonesian citizens or from any other background. So please go ahead and apply. We don't have a quota. We are so lucky to have such a diverse student cohort.
Yes,
I think it's
just
over
naturally
50.
it seems to just shake out that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, no one particular nationality kind of dominating.
No.
Always a lot of Indonesian enrollments in our school, you know, and they hold the heart of things in a lot of ways because a lot of them are here on scholarship and stay year after year after year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Beautiful.
and I mean, it's just how the world is now also, that a lot of children might hold one passport, but they might not even might have not been born in that country or speak that language. I mean, I can speak for my children. They hold Australian passports, but my daughter spent, I think, 2 weeks in Australia. So she was born and raised in Singapore, and I'm Finnish German. My husband is British Indonesian. So, and we are a boring example of a Green School family. So there's a lot of Bali family. There's a lot of diversity here.
A lot of variety, a lot of diversity at Green School. And we do love that. And as you say, it does tend to shake out naturally that way. Without us necessarily curating things in any particular direction. But I think if you've not been in an international school, and I know sometimes, Christina, families are coming to us from home, wherever that may be, and are in maybe a school option there in their home country. So this might be their first international school experience. So as an international school, it does mean there is that diversity in the mix. It does also mean that every year you might have 20% or so of your community, your student body, leave. So from one year to the next, about 80% of our community would continue year on year on year. My son, who's in grade 12, I think there's 25 kids in his graduating class this year. I think 16 of them have been together since middle school or grade 5. But that gives you a little bit of a sense of, you know, how that can shift over the years as children go through the system. So minimum is 1 year generally. Most people stay for more than that, and some go all the way through to graduation. But same for our teachers. We're an international school, so we recruit teachers from around the world as well as from Indonesia. We have a mix here at Green School, and we have pretty good retention for our teachers, our expat teachers in the school, above what is the norm or the standard, and we love that and we strive for that. But we also know that it's a dynamic thing to be a teacher in an international school system as well.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, as I mentioned, I worked in international schools before, and I know that you were in Jakarta, an international school before as well. And so for international school, this is actually quite unique because in Singapore, for example, Jakarta, families move there because of their employment, and they're also dependent once, if the employment contract finishes, they leave. Whereas in Green School, 95% of our families are moving to Green School, moving to Bali because of Green School. And so they have that flexibility that they choose how long they want to stay. Of course, you know, sometimes the circumstances out of your control, aging parents or other circumstances, but a lot of families are here and have that autonomy in deciding how long they would like to be. And as you mentioned, a lot of them are making this a long-term home, come for a year and stay for 12. So I hear this all the time.
Yes, I hear it and I've experienced it. Okay, let's grab a couple more questions here. which area do most families base their homes? Ubud seems a bit far for commuting. We touched on this a little bit earlier, Christina. I imagine this is a common question coming up through the admissions process.
Yes, it does. And generally speaking, families with younger children, so as Hayate is here, who met, who has a Bali baby and a 3-year-old, families with younger children tend to live in walking or cycling distance to the school, because it's I mean, it doesn't get any more idyllic than walking in the morning, or walking through the path. And a lot of primary school kids walk together and or cycle together. And then families who have older children tend to live in other more popular areas, for example, Canggu. So I live in Umalas. I commute every day. It's okay. It's a bit further, but it's it really depends. I mean, the biobus, of course, caters for quite a few areas as well. So I mean, we have families living as far as Sanur, and for various reasons. But I think most families start out with their Sabang area, so they start really close, and then they as they get to know the island, they kind of
get to know the other families in their children's classes, and where are they all living, and those sorts of pieces. So these are some of the more practical tips, I guess, that we support people with as they move through the process, including advice like just perhaps take something short term as a rental when you first arrive, and just find your feet and find out where the buses go and where everyone else is living. And, then you can go and visit places in person as well, and really make a decision about where the best location is going to be for your family. Christina, what are the deadlines for applications?
That's a really good question. And so, I mean, officially, we are now in our final admission round and final kind of allocation for the August 24 intake. But unofficially, it is until we have filled a class. So, I mean, realistically, as I mentioned, most families, of course, plan quite well far in advance of a move to Bali, so a move to Green School. So we have families that we've confirmed and offered places nearly a year in advance. And now we have still families coming in who are completing their applications now, where we can still offer places now. So as for availability for this coming August, we still have availability in most of the grades, at least 1 to 2 spaces per class. If you have any concerns about specific grades for your children, you can reach out and we can advise, but it's definitely still worth to apply. But we are now really going through the turnaround and to the kind of conversion really quite quickly now.
Well, Christina, I think we're going to share with our friends out there how they can actually get in touch with you directly and book some time with you. But let's grab a couple of last questions here. And one is, again, about the criteria. We've talked a little bit about that, but just a more specific question about, is there an interview process? And what are you looking for in the interview process?
So it depends on the grade that your child is applying for. So for early years primary school, we like to do family interviews, and I have the pleasure and privilege to do those. And so this is just a chance, as much as for me to ask questions for you and, get to see the families face to face or over Zoom, but also for you to ask any questions that you might still have. So fortunately, now that we're in a post-COVID time, most families do have the privilege to come and visit the campus and meet us first before they apply. But sometimes still families have never been to Bali and they're ready to move and uproot their whole life for this school. So at least a Zoom call is great to kind of have a chat and meet them. For children or students who then apply for grade 9 and above, we have our faculty, so our head of secondary, Mr. Benjamin Ford, he does the interviews with all the students then directly. And there are very informal interviews and chats. I mean, Benjamin is lovely.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't call it an interview.
No, it's a chat. And again, it's an opportunity for, it's an opportunity to get to know each other, to ask questions for us as much as we can ask questions. And again, I mean, the older the students get, the more important it is that it's their choice, that they have agency in joining us. That's what it's all about. It's not so much because it's great if the family, because it's such a community school, but it's still down to, do the children want to be here?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's a good one. That is something we do specifically look for with the older
Yeah.
students. Okay, that's great. Quickly on visas, I know you're not a visa agent. We know this is a question that often comes up, and I think we can feel a little overwhelmed with the whole visa thing. It sounds like it's more complex than it perhaps is.
Yeah, so it is quite straightforward. So once you've been offered a place with us, we can help you. We can connect you with Ganesha, who's our visa agency. They're not employed by us or contracted by us. However, they are located very conveniently just across the campus. And I think they cover for about 80% of our families, but also staff. And so they know exactly what they do and can advise really well. And in Indonesia, or Bali in particular, there's a lot of new updates and changes to visas and conditions all the time. And so they always have the latest information. For example, since something that was only released in the last couple of months, which is really exciting for our families, are the dependent visas for parents. So now families can apply for a student visa for their child and then the dependent visa for the parents, and that is as long or valid as long as the student visa is valid. So if a student visa is valid for a year or two, the parents' dependent visa on that has the same longevity, which is great. So then
quite a game changer, actually.
It really is.
Yes, if you're thinking about green school, you'll be coming at the right time.
Yeah,
if you're coming in August 2024 or beyond, hopefully it doesn't change. But that dependent visa has been a real gift, I think, in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And also in, our whole mission of being more sustainable, because that means that parents have to travel less and can stay on island much longer, which is brilliant.
Quite right. Okay, that is absolutely brilliant. Almost bringing us to the end. A couple of quick things. One, somebody's asked about the qualifications of our teachers. Of course, all our teachers have a teaching qualification and a teaching certification. Many have multiple degrees actually and masters as well, and some who've done all sorts of other interesting things with their lives as well as being a teacher. So we really, a bit like our students, are really looking for teachers that understand what Green School's all about, share our belief philosophically on teaching and learning, want to bring their creative and progressive kind of ideas into the mix, work with the tools for designing programs, and are open to collaborating with other teachers. So we've learned a lot over the years and what we look for our teachers, but please rest assured they are all qualified and must have at least 5 years teaching experience at a minimum. And then there was one more thing I wanted to grab here, which I may have, no, oh yes. So just a question about local children. Of course, we have many Indonesian families in our school community, maybe the third or fourth biggest group by nationality. And we do have, as part of that, a scholarship program for local children. So in fact, the only scholarships or subsidies we give are for Indonesian children who apply through that scholar program, and there is a bit of information on the admissions website about that too, so you can have a look there.
Yeah, and I think just to add, I think these are the two things really we've touched on both that makes Green School so unique as an international school is the inclusion of and respect of the Balinese and Indonesian culture and students, and of course the community aspects. But I think it's such a big task for an international school to be so mindful and respectful of including the host country or host island's culture and doing it such an intentional and mindful way. And what I love, my office sits right next to the cashier, and every morning I hear all the children come up and speaking in what sounds to me to perfect Bahasa. It might not be, but it sounds very fluent Bahasa in speaking with local staff without any hesitation or so it's quite, it's lovely how it's incorporated every day. Lovely. Sorry, I know we're running out of time.
No, that's lovely to hear. And it is a big part of the Green School story, actually, that probably has gone a little bit untold. But I think for those of us who are guests here, that opportunity to connect locally and learn alongside our Balinese friends is really such a precious part of the experience here at Green School. So thank you very much for asking that question about that. We don't always get it right, but Green School has always had its heart in the right place on that front. So I think that just about brings us to the end. There was one question in there much earlier on, Christina, which was all about educating for the environment, our mission, and how that has evolved over the years in the contemporary understanding of climate change and regeneration versus sustainability. And there's a whole lot that could be packed into a conversation on that. I was really intrigued by that question. I'm sorry we didn't get to it. It didn't feel like one we could answer quickly. But if the person who asked that question wants to reach out to admissions at Green School and say, could I please be in touch with Kate? I would love to connect with you and we could have a little chat about that or a little bit of an exchange.
Yes, and if you're available next week, we are hosting a follow-up call on the 25th, so next Thursday. We'll have a morning and afternoon session, so that will be a smaller group. So if you are free, please do sign up and we will ask you to unmute yourself and so you can ask all the questions. So it's much more of a conversation and dialogue rather than just us talking at you. So
this is our second virtual open event for the day. And I think I'm about done with the sound of my own voice, Christina. So I would be very excited to have the opportunity to have a dialogue with some people that want to discover more about Green School. So thank you for organising that. And I hope you can join us for that, myself and whoever else is going to be part of that conversation. That would be really wonderful.
Yep. So I think there was, didn't mean to interrupt, there was some request for some teachers to join, so we'll try to make that possible as well.
That would be nice. Let's see.
I think everybody enjoyed having Jim on.
And how else can people get in touch, Christina? What is the best way?
So in any way you like, really. Email is good. WhatsApp is good. If you like to set up a call with me directly, I think the team has already shared my Calendly details, and I saw some in my emails already popping up and scheduling it, which is so exciting. So I'm excited to take those calls. And yes, send a message in the bottle however you want to get in touch. So, but we're ready for you.
I love that. That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Christina. It's been fantastic to have you here. Always enjoy a chat with you. Big shout out to our production team who make us look way better than we actually are. So they do an amazing job. Coming to you live from the jungle is not necessarily easy. And to all of you out there that have joined us today, thank you so much for giving us some time. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We know we've gone a little bit over time. We always do.
It's easy
but it's been a real pleasure. So please stay in touch. Don't forget to fill out the survey, and I hope we see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.